Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to work with the percentages. Percentage is a word which gives you the idea that this something that we are dealing with is out of 100. This means that 100% means total number, complete thing. When we say 100%, this means complete thing. When we say 50%, this means half of the total. Now, you must remember that 100% means total number. It doesn't mean 100 people. If I'll say that 100% students present in the school today, this means that total attendance, total number of students are in the school. If I say 50% present, this means half of the total is present. Remember that this percentage sign, it means 1 over 100. So if you have any number written next to it, this number will have 100 in denominator. If you have 63, this will become 63 over 100. If you have 83, this will become 83 over 100. Sometimes students do what? They multiply the numbers. They do what? They put the number like 83% is the number. So they say that, okay, 83 and for example 83% of 90. So they say 83 times 90 over 100, which is absolutely wrong because percentage sign was with 83. It was not with 90. So they are not supposed to be keeping 100 in denominator, though the answer will be correct. But still, the main point is that where we have this 90 written, we don't have percentage sign there. Now, in this case, here, I'm going to give you the basic idea about how many methods we have in percentages and how can we work with them. Number one method that I have, I said in standard method. In standard method, if I have, for example, the question says, find 32% of 600. In this case, what I'm going to do is, I know that percentage sign is with 32. So first thing I will write 32 over 100. In maths, of means multiplication. So I will put multiply sign here and I'll bring this 600 here. Now, if you have seen the video about simplification, this will be very easy for you. If you have not seen this video, you must see that watch this video, because there I'm explaining how you can simplify a number. Right now, this 0, if I have any zeros in numerators like this ending if I have a number in numerator where we have zeros at the end of a digit, I can cancel those zeros in denominator. For example, this 0 can go with this 0 and this 0 can go with this 0. So I am left with 32 times 6 over 1. So where this 1 is, we know that standard 1, it's always with the number. Any number which we are writing always have some hidden values, and one is one of them. Now what I have is, I have 32 times 6. So I will do place value multiplication. 6 times 2 makes 12. So I'll write 2 here and I'll put 1 here. 6 times 3, 18 plus 1, 19. So 192 is my answer, which means that 32% of 600 is 192. Now this was standard method where I brought this percentage sign down, changed it into 100, times it with 600, and I simplified it. One thing I want to highlight here, that for example, I have 1000 here, for example, and I have 0 here. I cannot cancel this 0 with this 0 because this 0 is in between two non-zero numbers, two numbers which are not 0. So that's why this 0 cannot be cancelled with this 0. Remember that. But if any other case, if you have, for example, 630 times 400 divided by 1000, for example, you can simplify them very easily. 0 with 0, 0 with 0, and this 0 with this 0. Please never cancel or simplify this 0 with any of these zeros because they are getting timed. Here in this case right now, they are getting divided because 1000 was in denominator, and since this fraction has a multiplication sign, so of course this 1 times 1000 means 1000, and 630 times 400 will give you another number. So we'll have a numerator and we will have a denominator with 1000, so we can simplify them there. But please never simplify this 0 with this 0. So this was the standard method. Now I'm going to give you the other method, which is the partitioning percentages. So this means that I will figure out first the 10% of a number. So here I will mention this as partitioning I love writing with pencils. Partitioning percentages. Now, in partitioning percentages, for example, it says find 60% of 230. Now, I will write this thing for every question I'm going to do. Every question I'm going to do, I will write this thing first. I'm not looking at this value right now, this value right now. I'm writing 100%, then I'm writing 10%, then I'm writing 1%. Initially, when you are beginning with this method, you must understand this, and then later on, you might not have to write any of the other things anymore. First of all, I will write 100%. Now, what is 100%? 100% is my actual number for which they are asking me to find 60%. I will write 230 here. Now, to find 10%, the rule says divide your number by 10. To find 10%, the rule says divide your number by 10. Why they say so? If I'll recall the standard method which I showed you in the previous page, I'll write 10% of 230. Now, I said divide this by 10 for this one. So look why, because when I'm writing this standard method, this goes with this 0 and this goes with this 0. So I'm left with what? 23, which is my answer, right? But if I say 10% of 230 and I will cancel only this with this, then my point is that divide 23 by 10 will give you the 10%. Dividing 23 by 10 will give you the 10%. If you did not understand that part, no worries, no issues, no problem. This was just a cross-reference, quick reference to the previous part. Stick to this one. 100% means 230. 10% means I have to divide this number by 10. So when I divided this number by 10, this 0 and this 0. I got 23. To find 1% again, I will divide my answer of 10% with 10 again. So I divide this by 10 again. I got my 2.3. Now, the question was find 60%. If I know 10%, which is 23, it's very easy for me to find 60%. How? I will say time this 10% with what? With 6. This will give you what? 60%. On the other hand, since you are multiplying this 10 with 6, as per the maths rule, we know that whatever we are doing on the left hand side of is equals to, we have to do the same thing on the right hand side. So I will say 23 times 6. Now 23 times 6 makes what? Again I will do place value multiplication. 6 times 3 18, 8 here and 1 here. 6 times 2 12 plus 1 13. So 138 is my 60%. That is my answer. 60% means 230. You can also do it this way. You can say 60% 230. You have to find out 60% of 230. Let's find out 50%. So you will say, okay, 50% will be the half of it. So half of 200 is 100 and half of 30 is 15. So that is 115. So okay, 50% means 115. Now you already know 10%, which is 23. So you can add 23 in that. You can add 10 in that to make it 60%. So you said 5 and 3, 8, which makes 2 plus 1, 3 and 1. So 60% means 138. Okay, this is the second method. Now, third method is very quick and very simple method, but that can only be used for numbers which are ending with zeros. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%. I will go, that is also a quick method. But before I go to that, I will give you the detailed method, which means if I say find 32% of 80, I will do what? I will first say 80 times 32, and when you get the answer, divide this by 100. Again, 32% of 80, so 80 times 32 divided by 100. It's same thing, sticking to the standard method, referring to that one. This is my number right now, 32% of 80. So if I look into it, what's happening? I will multiply these two together and divide my answer by 100. Dividing by 100 is very easy. That is why I'm referring to this method also. Now 80 times 32, this is double digit. I will never recommend my students to go for double digit without the long multiplication, unless and until they are they're expert in that. They got the mastery in this one. So here 80 and 32, I'm doing long multiplication. 2 times 0 makes 0, 2 times 8 makes 16. Now since I'm going for 3, and for that I need a staircase, I need a step, I put this 0 here to go down here. Now 3 times 0, 0, 3 times 8, 24. I will add these numbers 0, 6, 5 and 2. 2560 is my number here. 2560. Let me cross check. 200, 2 is 16, 300, 3 is a 24. 24 means 0, 6, 5 and 2. 2560. Okay. Now in my denominator, how many zeros I have? 1 and 2. So in my numerator, I will count 2 digits from the right side and I will place the decimal. Again, in my denominator, if I have 2 zeros, in my numerator, I will count 2 digits and place the decimal. Look at this. 25.60 is my answer. Because I had 100, I counted 2 digits, I placed 1 decimal up here. Now, if I have 3 zeros, then what I will do? I will count 1, 2 and 3, place the decimal. If I have 4 zeros, what I will do? 1, 2, 3, 4, I will place the decimal. If I have 5 zeros, what I'm going to do? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have only 4 place values. Let me add 0 to make it 5 and then I will place the decimal here. So this is right now we are doing, since we have 100 only, so I counted 2560 and I counted 2 numbers from the right side and I placed the decimal. The quick method I was talking about was what? Finding 60% of 40. It's easy. 6 times 4 makes what? 24 is your answer. Yes, it is that easy. If I have to find out, for example, here 40% of 90 or 900, 9 4s are 36, I will add 0. Now why I added 0, this is the main point. You have to be very vigilant with this topic, with this skill. You have to be very clear about this skill and you must be clear, thinking clearly about this. Why? 4 times 9 does makes 36, right? But I am talking about 900. So 40% of 900 can never be 36 because 10% of 900 is actually 90. So 40% can never be less than 10%. If you get me right, I repeat, 40% of 900 is 360. Why? Because when I multiplied, I said 4 times 9 is 36. I wrote 36 first, but then I said this cannot be 36. Why? Because 10% of 900 is 90 and I'm getting 36 for 40%. 10% of 900 is 90 and I'm getting 36, which is way less than 90 for 40%. It is not correct. So I added this 0 here, believing that 360 is my 40%. If I have find 4% of 90, again 4 times 9 makes what? 36. But then you have to think that 10% of 90 is 9 and you have 4%. So 1% is 9. 1% will be 9. You're talking about 4%. So yes, it is 36. If I say not 90, 4% of 9, then what? Then 4 times 9, 36. It will be 3.6. 4% of 9 is what? 9 4s are 36 over 100. So 0.36. I just cross-checked it because I was doubtful about this. So 0.36 is your 4% of 9. Now that is why I said that you have to be very clear and very must be smart about this when you are doing this method. One thing you must know that you in the beginning you cannot use this method if you have a number which are not the multiple of tens. If you have to find out 36% of 80, then okay, some people can do that, which is very good, but others which do not have mastery in the previous skills, they must not go for this one like this. Okay, those who can understand, I'll explain this. 36 times 80, so I will do 30 times 80, which is 24. I'll do 6 times 80, which is 4.8. So 6 times 80, yeah, 6 is 48, and 30 is 24, so that is 24. So my 28.8 I got 28.8, and then further I will divide this by 100. So moving it back, if I write here 36 over times 80, 0 with 0, and I have 36 times 8. You multiply 36 with 8. 8 6 are 48. So 24, 28, 288, and then 28.8 is your answer. If you get this correct, no problem. It's very good. If you didn't, don't pay too much attention to this right now. This is only for those who really understand the previous parts. But this is the critical thinking part, so don't go for it right now. I will recommend you to go for the first 3 basic methods which I have showed you earlier. This will be all for today. Thank you very much. Have a good time, and please do practice. It takes 3 minutes to deliver a concept, and it takes 30 minutes to practice it, at least 30 minutes to practice it. If you are learning something in a school and you're not practicing at school, at home, it's not going to help you. Trust me, it's not going to help you. At the end of the day, you will lose 1 or 2 main points. You will get the answer, but that will be absolutely wrong because you might have missed the main ingredient of it. So take care, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.